At Man City Fan TV, we're really pleased to promote this wonderful sketchwork, artwork by a lady called Leslie Ross. You can follow Leslie on Twitter at 111Leslie111 and also follow her on Facebook and Twitter at 9320art.
Hi guys, it's Ray here from Man City Fan TV. There's been a lot of love for Oleks Zinchenko in the last few weeks, especially so after his display in the Carabao Cup final and his displays in the league and in the Cup as well. So I thought I'd do a video about him. We've done plenty about him last summer when we thought he was going to leave, but he stayed. So I want to give you a little bit background about him, what he's doing currently. And Pep has had a lot of gushing praise for Zinchenko, so I thought I'd go through some of that as well. Okay, we'll start off with, he's a 22-year-old Ukrainian, supposedly attacking midfielder, but pretty much he's played for City at left back. Now, we signed him in July 2016 for about £1.5 million, and immediately pretty much he went on loan to PSV Eindhoven, who play in the Dutch Eredivisie. I think he played about a dozen games for the first team, and by the sounds of it, half a dozen games or so for the second team. But he was a young lad, new league, knew everything. I'm not sure it went wonderfully well, that loan spell, but he came back to City in the summer, and he became part of the first team squad. Now, he made his first team debut against Wolverhampton Wanderers. I think it was in the 24th of October in 2017. In the Carabao Cup. I think he played, I think we went to extra time, he played the full game, full 120 minutes. And he made his first league appearance on the 13th of December in 2017. Now, due to Benjamin Mendy getting injured after about 5 or 6 games last season, and he was out for pretty much most of the season after that, he came back for the last 5 or 6 games, and Fabian Delph took over his left-back slot. And then Fabian Delph got injured, so then Zinchenko managed to get a run in the team, and quite an extended run, because I think he played, if I remember correctly, about 7 or 8 league games, and he kind of switched a bit with Fabian Delph when, I guess, most of the time when Delph was fit and ready to play, he played. When he was not available, it seemed to be Zinchenko. Now, I think he played, and Delph played very well at left-back last season, but I think mainly that was due to the team being so potent going forwards. Opposition teams were scared to attack us, they were scared to push players forward, and I think our defence kind of got generally an easier ride than they should have done last season, as I said, because teams were scared. So last season, Zinchenko played, I think it was 14 games in total. If I remember correctly, his last game, I don't think he was that great. It was kind of, to me anyway, it felt like he'd become complacent. He'd got his place in the team, he'd become established, and he became a little bit complacent. And that was towards the end of the season. And then Mendy came back from injury, he played the last 4, 5, 6 games, and Zinchenko, we thought, would end up being sold. And there was very strong rumours that he'd go to Wolves, newly promoted Wolves, for about 15 million quid. And there's also rumours that he might go to Betis in Spain for about the same sort of money. Now, he, in the end, decided not to leave. I think it was his decision alone, to stick around at City. And I think, as we said at the time last summer, he really loves being at City. He kind of feels that City saved his career from the problems he had in the Ukraine. Obviously, they had the war with Russia, and I don't think he was training properly, training with the club. And kind of City rescued him and saved him. And he's got a lot of love for City. And you can see that, you know, he's a really fun-loving guy. He's always having fun. He's always up to, it looks like mischief and some japes. He looks like a very giddy kind of guy. I think, was it last summer when we won the league? I think it was him who knocked the league trophy down, the Premier League trophy, or dropped it or something. You know, and everybody has a great laugh about him. I think he's really well respected and loved at City. And all these things combined, you know, he wanted to stay. He wanted to stay and play under the best manager that there is. You know, that's Pep Guardiola. I'll say it time and time again. That's the best manager that's going. And who wouldn't want to play and train under him? And I think he kind of felt he'd rather play some games, might be only a few, in a really top-class team than move somewhere else, go step down a few rungs of the ladder to get more game time. You know, it might only be that he played another 1 or 2 seasons for City before he decided to move on. But that was a risk he was prepared to take. He was prepared to show and fight and show what he could do. So he stayed, and this season he's already played, I think, in 16 games, played all of the Carabao Cup final, played really, really well. You know, we were concerned when that zippy Hudson-Odoi came on for Chelsea, but Zinchenko seemed to cope with him well. I think he even bounced him off the ball once. So it looks like he's bulked up a little bit in the gym. He's putting on a bit of muscle. Don't know how much muscle he's put on, but I'd love to have an arm wrestle with him. I mean, he's only 22, I'm 50 years old. I'm sure I'd give him a good run for his money, but he has put on a bit of muscle. It does look like that. He does look a bit stronger, but he's still a fun-loving guy. Now, I've said a few times this season that most games he plays, he's made a mistake. Sometimes a big mistake, Delph too, because they're not fullbacks, they're not left backs, they're playing out of position. He's an attacking midfielder. That's where he wants to play, that's where he normally plays, and I think he plays in midfield for the Ukraine, and he's pretty good there. You've seen some of his performances either defending or attacking from midfield, so he's got that flexibility. He can play in so many different positions if you really want him to. He can play at defensive midfield, play at left back, play at left wing back, playing left midfield. You know, there's 4 or 5 positions that he can play at, but for right now, he's been playing at left back for City just because we've needed him to play there. Now, as I said, he could have left last season, but he was determined to fight and stay, and he was very close to leaving apparently. But his effort and determination is there for everybody to see. His love for City is there for everybody to see. And as I said, Pep has been very gushing in his praise for Oleksandr Zinchenko. And I'll give you some of Pep's quotes as what he said recently in a press conference. "Incredible is the only thing I can say. Oleks has shown me again what I thought before, the importance and the value of being a good guy, a good lad. And the fact he's a guy who was making a transfer at the beginning of the season, was close to going. There were 6, 7, 8 fixtures he didn't play at 1 minute. But I never saw him in this period we were together with 1 bad face, 1 bad training session. The day after games is always difficult for the guys who didn't play, and most of the players sometimes want to show me how disappointed they are. This guy was a complete opposite. That is the reason he always plays good. He showed me again the mood, the behaviour, being positive, smiling and alert. When this happens, you will always play good. That's why I'm delighted. He deserves all my respects, and I think he's going to make a long career. I don't know if that will be here, hopefully, or another place, but with this behaviour, he'll be happy doing his job. I can only say thank you. More than the way he plays, it's his approach. Everybody can learn from Oleks. Everybody." Now, as I said, that's absolute gushing praise from Pep. You know, and when you talk like that, you're only going to really make your players feel really good about themselves. So what I will say about Oleks, he still makes mistakes. You know, he's not immune from them because it's not his position. And maybe we're overly critical because if you look on the other side, Kyle Walker, he's a much more experienced and seasoned right back, and he makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. So if you make 1 or 2 mistakes a game, maybe we shouldn't be overly harsh. It's just that sometimes those mistakes generally have cost a goal. And you remember them. You remember those mistakes when he's out of position, the ball's hit over his head or behind him, and the player comes on and scores. You know, you can't help but not notice that. We saw it again in our game against West Ham, where he was slightly out of position. He didn't follow Andy Carroll's run, and thankfully Carroll's shot wasn't as good as it should have been, and Edison made a good save. And you could see kind of Zinchenko puffing his cheeks out because he knew he'd made a mistake. But the good thing is, and Pepper said this in the past, when he makes a mistake, he doesn't hide. He still wants that ball. And another great thing about him is he comes inside. He could, he can play as obviously as an attacking midfielder, and when we're attacking a lot, he's there in an attacking role. So he's already suited. He's already ready for that. He's got a good cross on him. He works the triangle well with whoever's on the left-hand side, whether it's Sane or whether it's Sterling and David Silva, whoever's playing in an attacking midfield position. So, it is. He's a really good, versatile player, and you can tell how much the City fans appreciate him. There's a poll at the moment for the Player of the Month, and when I did my vote on the Citizens portal, he was second behind Aguero. I think Aguero had something like 44%, and Oleks had 42% of the vote. Now, Aguero scored 2 hat-tricks in the last month. He scored a ton of goals, and he's been brilliant. And so for Oleks to be almost neck and neck with Sergio Aguero in the vote is such a credit to the guy. You've got to love Oleksandr Zinchenko, and I've not seen any single City fan who doesn't love him, doesn't love his attitude, doesn't love his spirit, doesn't love his commitment, doesn't love the fact that he doesn't shirk away and hide when he's made a mistake. He works even harder to prove himself and to stick his head above the parapet time and time again. Oleksandr Zinchenko, fantastic player, and fingers crossed he stays for many years to come, because he's got a position in this team, in this squad. We're playing as a squad. He's always got a position there, whether he's going to be left back, left wing back. I'd love to see him have a go at defensive midfield. Maybe there's a game for him to have a go at that, because if he can do the defensive part of the game, we know he can do the attacking part and bringing the ball forward and laying it off, short passes. We've seen that time and time again. So he's still an exciting player. His value last summer was about 15 million quid. I've got to say, if he was on the market now, I wouldn't want anything less than 30 or 40 million quid for this guy. You can say maybe that's pushing our luck. But the fact is Pep trusting him time and time again. We're not sure whether Delph's fully fit. He's supposed to be, but he's not in the team. It's Zinchenko. Very interesting to see who plays against Bournemouth. See if Delph's back in there or Oleks plays. But he's a guy to follow, and we love him, and we wish he stays for many, many years. You can call him, it's a great respectful nickname where they call him Kev's cousin or Kev's younger brother, because he just looks so much alike. But he's a fantastic player, and as I said, I wish he stays for many years to come. Guys, if you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, it would be absolutely fantastic if you could do so. If you click the bell icon, you'll be notified as soon as new videos come out. And if there's any more of these player reviews that you want us to do, just pop it down in the comments section below. Tell us who you want to talk about, whether it's an academy player, whether it's a first team squad player, even a season player. We want to talk about the players. We give some of their stats and their qualities and attributes and how they're doing at City. Absolutely fun to talk about our players. It's fantastic. And yeah, just put your comments in the comment section below, and we'll try and do the business for you. See you around, Blues.